Good morning, colleagues. Hope you're well. It's my last day of term 3. Looking forward to a couple of weeks of holiday. But you know, as school leaders, you don't really get holiday. There's a lot of work and prep that goes into that time. And then get ready for the start of term 4, heading into the end of the year. Obviously, I've been dealing with a lot of learner marks recently. And I'm always asking myself the question, how do we improve learner performance? And for many of us, we may be sitting in a situation where we at schools where learner performance is not great. Learners are a couple of years behind grade level and they struggle academically. But I do think there are certain things that we can do to improve learner performance on paper, to get the learner to progress to the next year without having to do interventions, without needing catch-up programs. Now, I'm not saying that those are unnecessary. I fully support them. I'm just talking about short-term ways of getting learners to perform well. So I'm specifically thinking about assignments now, those things that happen in class, those things that allow for greater teacher involvement. Obviously with the control test, the learners write that under control conditions, and it's on them to sort of perform well in that space. So I think sometimes we neglect how we administer assignments at schools. I think sometimes what is happening, and I'm generalizing now, sometimes what is happening is that learners have an assignment to do for the subject and the teacher gives them the assignment, explains what the assignment is about, and then gives them the due date for that assignment. And then the learners either submit or they don't submit. And some teachers will say, I explained the project to them, I gave them a due date, they didn't meet the due date, therefore they're getting 0. Okay, and that's the perception of some people. I think we need to be intentional about how we administer those assignments. If you give a learner 2 weeks to do an assignment, and the assignment has different parts to it, my suggestion would be break that assignment into parts. Make it bite-sized, manageable for the learner to execute. Explain the whole assignment, explain the one section you want first. Give them a day or 2 per section, and you just facilitate the learner's success. I'm not saying give the learners the answers. I'm not saying coach them. I'm not saying spoon feed them. I'm saying make it bite-sized for learners and manage that for them. They are kids. They will choose instant gratification over the reward that they're going to get later on for the work that they do. So we do need to take responsibility about managing that responsibility for the learner. So break that assignment into 2 parts, but also make sure that whatever is being assessed in that assignment, that the learners have the skills to execute it. And if a learner doesn't have that skills, make sure that in your explanation of the various sections that they are taught those skills. And if they must draw a graph, for example, make sure that they know how to draw a graph. Use another example, use a previous example, go back to when you did graphs, model that to them, so that when they go into the assignment, they are a lot more confident about it. They feel like I can achieve it because my teacher has set me up to succeed. But when we just give the children the full assignment and we expect them to hand it in on the due date, learners feel a certain way about it. And a lot of times, you don't get the assignment, or the quality of that assignment is not that great. What I would also do is that make sure that you maybe set the due date for the assignment a couple of days before you actually want it. So if it's due on Friday, make the due date the Wednesday. Give the learners an opportunity to submit. You peruse the assignments for the class and whatever, and then you also say, I'm seeing a lot of misunderstanding around the graphs. I see a lot of misunderstanding around the type of graph that we're using. Remember, on your x-axis is this, your y-axis is this. So I'm giving you a day or two just to correct those aspects of your project so that you can succeed. So I'm looking at the mechanics of executing an assignment. Another thing that I see happening on social media is that in week 8 and 9 of the term, teachers are online asking for assignments, saying looking for an EMS assignment for term 3. So if you're going online to administer an assignment in week 8, it tells me, or I assume, that you haven't prepared well for that term, which means the learners are not necessarily prepared, but also that are you going to rush through that assignment now? And what is the quality of the facilitation for that assignment in terms of setting the kids up to succeed? So sometimes we must ask ourselves, what is our role in the lack of success in our kids? Are we setting our kids up to succeed? Because we're definitely not setting our kids up to succeed if in week 8 we are still looking for an assignment, because that thing's going to be rushed. The kids are either going to be coached too much, so their marks are not going to be reflective of their ability. You don't give yourself enough time to mark, so the quality of the marking may not be the greatest. So I think we do need to take responsibility as educators in terms of mechanically how do we do things and the impact that it has on our kids and the success that they get or don't get through their academic performance. So colleagues, as we end of term 3 and move into term 4, just start planning your term ahead. Plan your assessments. Plan when you're going to do those assessments and put the learners in a position for them to succeed. Don't let your lack of planning, your lack of adequately preparing them for an assessment be the reason they don't succeed. If they don't succeed, make sure that it's them that is not setting themselves up to succeed. But don't ever allow a situation where fingers get pointed at you because of certain aspects that you didn't do that could have helped the learners. Okay? Have an awesome day and an awesome weekend. See you soon.